I think it has to be certainly a very unique decision as a follow-up to the third highest grossing film of all time, a black and white Shakespeare film. Can you maybe just talk about, why Shakespeare? I mean, what is the relationship with the Avengers, and how did this project come about?
Power has driven me mad. No, Shakespeare has been a part of the fabric of my life for all of my life, and it's something that I love very much. And The Avengers wasn't the third highest grossing movie of all time. When we shot this, The Avengers had wrapped a month before. So we were just at the beginning of editing The Avengers when we did this. When I did it because my wife and I had a vacation planned, and she said, "You know what, let's not travel, you need to relax, you should make another movie." And, and everything was in place and had been for some time. We'd been doing readings at the house, and so I already knew who my Beatrice and Benedick were. My wife had built the house, so I already knew where Leonardo's estate was. She even had a crew for another thing that she was putting together for our production company. And so it really, the only excuse I had not to make it was sanity, or that I didn't have a take on the text, and I had sort of shied away from it for a long time because of that. And then I really dug into it as I was finishing up filming The Avengers, and went, oh no, I know exactly what I want to say about this text, and then it's a movie. So it just seemed perfectly natural, like anybody would do that. There was a point at which I realized, oh my God, my personal issues are hilarious. But and then I thought, maybe I should edit it too. Oh God, what have I done? I'll write the music. Yeah.
But it's why this text? Because I'd read about these readings that you've had at your house, where you just call your friends over and you just read plays of Shakespeare, which just sounds so sophisticated. I don't do anything like that at my house. So I'm assuming that it was a number of plays, but why Much Ado About Nothing? Was there something specifically about this text, and you said, this is the one that I want to do? Is it because that one you could shoot in your house? Or?
There are other ones that could be, that I would love to do, Twelfth Night and Hamlet, Othello. There's Scads. He wrote a bunch of good plays. He'll go far. Much Ado, we did look at for practical purposes. It's like, I know who I want to be in it. I know that it's all in one location. I know that location so well that I already understand the feeling of the film. Those practical considerations were the difference between we can do this in a month and we can't. So there are other texts that I care about as much. This one came at me more subtly because I'd always enjoyed it as a comedy, but I hadn't really understood about the sort of, not just the dark underbelly of it, but the fact that all of the stuff that you usually just sit through to get back to Beatrice and Benedick is actually very interesting. And that the characters, even though they may themselves be a bit dim, Claudio, they themselves have integrity, and they're very much a part of what Shakespeare is trying to say.
And, did you have sort of a long desire to do an adaptation of Shakespeare? I know that, with your television work, I think that would probably give you opportunities to cross things off your list. You can say, I can do a silent, I can do a musical, I can do puppets. Was there, I've always wanted to do Shakespeare, and so this was kind of something that you were waiting on doing?
Well, I guess Moonlighting did that, didn't they? They did the Taming of the Shrew episode. Years before, but it never occurred to me to try and do Shakespeare, except that when I first met Amy Acker, I was completely blown away by her, but I had been burned before by people who are great in the room. And so we did a film test. Like 2 days later, I got Alexis and J. August Richards, and we filmed a little scene just to make sure, and it was basically Midsummer. It was basically they're under a spell, and they fall in love with her in a flowery Elizabethan way, and they're both acting like idiots. And so it turned out to be more prophetic than I expected.